All right, guys. So here's the next tool up. It is the Layout VDB, which is pretty cool. I don't really use VDB that much, but it's kind of neat that it actually can display correctly in layout. So what are your guys' thoughts about it?
That is very useful.
It's so much better than a bounding box. You can actually physically see what it looks like. I mean, it might not be photoreal, but it really doesn't matter that it is.
Yeah, do you guys know if it like you can actually make a gradient and then apply it to it? Is that
Well, it looks like he's done exactly that.
yeah.
Yeah, you can do slices. If you have used Octane,
Mm-hmm.
this is essentially what Octane also offers, but this is way faster.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's not
Way
rendered
faster.
just in the viewport.
Yeah,
It can't be changed, right? Like import this in from whatever, Houdini or
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
something else,
I
and then you can just use it. Now they're gonna update this to work with what's their turbulence? Like maybe turbulence could have this kind of preview. It's got a
I think
decent
it
preview
already
already,
has.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
Or
already
does
got
it do?
a slight,
Yeah,
yeah,
slices indicator in that one.
yeah.
yeah.
I might have used the wrong word earlier, but I meant turbulence.
Okay.
You can do this with turbulence already in the viewport.
Yeah.
It's just that if you have a VDB baked out of, let's say, turbulence, VDBs are just a cache that you just stream into the viewport. So
Mm-hmm.
it's way faster compared to, let's say, using the Dynamics engine to do it for you.
Which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea with these tools is it's a sort of a round robin thing. So you can preview it in your viewport. It obviously won't necessarily look exactly the same, but at least you're
Yeah.
seeing it in a volumetric way. It's not just going to be that kind of like, well, there's a bounding box, that's a huge improvement. And as you can see there, look, it's got a lovely gradient.
Yeah, that's great. And he just loaded it somehow. I'd like to see how
Yeah,
that process worked.
I mean, obviously we've got no sound on this, so we can't infer. But I imagine it's also changing the viewport as well. I mean, yes, that's quite slow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And also, I want to add, I do some previews in LightWave. Having something like this, and actually it's visible in the viewport, is super good for when you need to say, "Oh, here's going to be some smoke," and
Okay.
things like that. Because I can
Yeah.
actually render out an OpenGL render instead of actually committing to, "Oh, I need to send this to a farm to see the effect." I can actually
Yes.
have something, that is showing up in OpenGL. So that is super, super cool.
If you make an animation of the VDB and you see it, the new preview played back, I wonder if it's real time or not.
It's
Might
not
be a little
real
slower.
time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be real time. 2D Tools actually made a tool where you can render out OpenGL into PNG files.
Yeah.
So when you do a
Okay.
preview from the camera, it will actually, and this is where I see this
That's
sort of
cool.
tool.
You have a use case for it. That's great.
Previous. Instead of having, let's say, a colored ball that is mimicking an
I see.
explosion, you can actually have an explosion that looks
Gotcha.
way better.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's get on to the next one, which is the USD importer export. I think it's just import,
Oh.
right? It just does import, but it can bring everything in now. Like obviously this is just the wire, but I think it brings in all materials, lights. I'm not familiar with this process too much. I don't know if any of you guys use it, but it looks pretty cool.
No.
That's all there already. It just works.
At work,
Yeah.
we are looking way into USD. Universal Scene description, because it actually has shaders and all of that stuff. This is good start.
Yeah, it looks like it brings everything in, which is great. It'd be great to not have to modify, like say an FBX or something, you have to tweak materials over and redo stuff. This looks like it just works out of the box, and that's going to be pretty neat.
Yeah, it's hard to see. Obviously, this is just a preview, because obviously with USD, you've got a number of things going on. You've got simulations it can bring in, particle clouds.
Yeah, animations, characters. Yeah,
animations. It can have instancing, which is a big bugbear. With very few things where you can say, that scene could have 5,000 instances of nails in the walls. Are the instances, or does it bring them in as geometry?
Clones,
clones, which is very slow. Obviously, it's a huge start. It's a very important technology. LightWave definitely needs it.
Yep.
So
Yeah. It's pretty standard across the film industry, right?
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I think the main problem with USD is it's sort of like a, how can I put it, like a baked thing. Like, so you just import it in your software of choice, use a USD rendering engine, and it'll just sort of work. But you're not truly. It's sort of like you're just sort of like, it's a bit like an AVI is a universal video file format, but like
Okay.
it's actually a wrapper for thousands of different things. And as long as you can load the object, it's like fine, but you're not really truly loading the scene. So you might not be able to edit the polygons. You might not be able to go in there and mess with the surfaces. I don't actually know. Yeah, it's kind
Anything
of like,
within
yeah,
that.
it looks cool. Can I do anything with it? Kinda, but not really.
Yeah, you have to save
Move
them
the
out
camera.
as. I guess if you want to do something with it, you have to save it out as an LWO, and then you can,
Then
load
modify
that
it.
back and modify it. Very complicated, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, just to talk to all the different packages it has to use, I get its complexity. Any more on this? We can go off to the next one. Next one's really cool. I can't wait to actually see this in action. I'm
Yeah,
not
let's.
sure if this would be an open beta, but this one is called, is it Splashy or Splash, or it's kind of
Oh,
neat.
Yeah,
So, mhm.
splash.
So this one's going to be a neat, finally like some more higher end water tool, because I know they have Flow now. I don't know if this is a
Yep.
derivative of it or it's just it can do smaller. Obviously, you can see there a smaller burst of water drops, right? Because Flow can only kind of do big ones.
No,
So
flow is actually for small scale. I think splash is for bigger stuff.
I'm just talking about, you see those tiny little dots there,
yeah, the
like
fact that it's got incredibly tiny particles.
tiny particles. Yeah, Flow was never really good at super, tiny particles. Like this looks like a mix of both somehow.
Unsure, because if it's very hard to tell, because unfortunately there's a compression artifact on that. But it looks like the water's going through the floor a bit, so
Hmm.
there are issues.
Yeah, the bounding box that they have in
Yeah,
there.
you can see, but I mean, it looks really nice as a starting point. So presumably they're using like a third-party library.
This is Steve, right? That
Yes.
made Flow, and he is playing around a lot with the NVIDIA toolkit. You need to have an NVIDIA card,
Oh,
a
okay.
graphic
So
card,
you
to
need
do
like
this.
the optics or whatever.
No, not optics, but
CUDA.
an NVIDIA card at least.
Yeah,
I
it'll
see.
probably be CUDA then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
CUDA based.
CUDA.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk nonsense about it because I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, it's neat that they're kind of filling up all the things that were always really missing that people would want, like cool, finite details for water creation and things like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
technically, you can do very basic fluid sims with VDB. It's just that you wouldn't get that kind of particle size and stuff.
Hmm.
Well, not out of the box. You probably could if you knew what you were doing. Whereas this is a dedicated tool that's like, a bit faster and run,
Yeah.
more optimal, designed for super powerful, massive simulations. Yeah, VDB will do it, but it won't be fast.
Yeah. So next up, speaking with particles again, is the snow,
Oh
which
yeah.
is
Oh,
interesting.
yeah. They
It's a
showed this one for us in the LightWave Christmas special, by the way.
Yeah, that's
This
right.
Yes.
This is
new
where I
particle
captured
system.
it. Hmm. I kind of like that they already too didn't already have a pre-snowflake texture built in too that you could use or not use, which I thought was
I
smart.
don't remember. I know it's got a bunch of tech. Is there a next bit where he shows how it works?
All right, I can play. Here's this one of the snow just as a OpenGL version of it.
Yeah, it looks like spheres, but I mean, I suppose once you put it like either a particle or a motion blur on
Yeah, it's got
that,
a soft. He had a soft one, I believe, a soft sphere. It's like a
well, it
hard
might
edge
be
sphere.
soft
Yeah, there
in.
it
Oh yeah,
is.
right, there you go. It might be soft in rendering. Might be look different in OpenGL depending on how he's
Hmm.
doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this video shows the bounding box. Oh, here's
Here,
the
right.
end.
This is what you were talking about. So this is really cool. What he's done is he's basically locked particle sim into
To the
where the camera
camera.
is.
Yeah.
So you basically only generate as many particles as are needed. And I remember I asked him as well, and it actually has like an overscan feature. So obviously, if you've got a particle that leaves the frame, you've got a little bit of extra life in it before it dies, so that your
Hmm.
motion blur and things like that will still work. Or if it's ever so slightly out of focus, part of that might appear in the frame, even though it's just outside of the camera, as it were.
Yeah, the camera thrust
And
him.
And also, this is actually not using particle effects that we are used to using.
No, it's a custom plugin, and it's designed. It literally is as simple as that. It's built a little plugin. It's not using the native stuff, so it's obviously super fast and performant because it's only generating the particles that the camera can see.
But this is standalone, right? The Snow one standalone, because they have that one with the Galaxy too, and that's a separate system.
Yes, I think it's all building towards a particle system. I just don't know an awful lot about where they're going with it in a long-term sense. But
you think about gravity, right?
I can add that one now to the stage, just since we're talking about particles.
Yes. This is another particle system. It's just you just add it to null, and it doesn't use the FX tools because those are outdated. These are new things, as far as I know, right?
So all standalone base. You just make nulls, and you can have a Snow and a Galaxy at the same time, if you wanted to. Shabazz, any use cases for this kind of stuff with the stuff you do?
For the stuff that I do, I can see the earlier one with Splash. I can see myself using something like that,
Splash,
especially with the fact that from what I saw from that clip, the fact that it was visible in Ripper was absolutely interesting to me to see that, because that gave almost like a real-time feedback on that. With the new particle systems, to be perfectly frank with you, I can only really see this stuff being relevant to me in the terms of training. For tutorial material and teaching other people how to use it and the benefits of it. For my direct work, not at this point in time, but I guess I will probably think of something.
Cool. So next up, actually excited about this one. This is the seamless texture creation for Node, which I thought that was pretty neat that they finally have something that does that.
What is this?
So you use a standard brick texture just like this that would never be tiled correctly, and it somehow offsets and creates feathered edges for the UV space of it. So you can now make that brick texture look more seamless and have differences like that render there. That's really neat.
Andrew, didn't Michael Wolf make a node for this?
Similar. I don't know if it's exactly the same as the one he did. He did it for UV tiling. I don't know what type of tiling this had. You can see there what he's done with a very obvious UV map. It looks kind of a bit terrible. But then if you're using, like, say, a rock texture or something like that.
Yeah, it would work great, yeah.
Yeah, you'll create like an infinite texture plane that won't repeat.
Yeah, but I think Michael Wolf actually developed a tool for that.
Something similar?
Similar. I don't know if it's exactly the same. I would have to load that up and
it looks great. Like, I would love this for, when I do the design stuff, especially exterior stuff. Like, say you just had even though I like to use the Instaserve to make the grass blades, but the underlying texture, that usually looks very patterned sometimes, right? If you use just a standard grass texture, this would solve that.
Because of the infinite texture plane where you can change
that's right.
Repeat. Whereas if you can kind of subtly blend them, taking a brick texture, if you've got a big enough texture to sample from, you can effectively make it look like it's not one texture that's repeating. It would sort of mix it up. I think that would look really good.
Yeah, that's what he's doing here. So I'm excited about this.
That's an ideal use case, and I can see a huge amount of use for that.
Do we know if this somehow is able to look at the source image and deconstruct it and reconstruct it in other ways, or is to make seamless tiles, or is it just looking at the edge of the source image and somehow blending?
Yeah, it looks like it's just using I don't know if you ever use any other software that would just do that, like get rid of the edges by just feathering them out,
blending everything together.
It doesn't line up for you, the bricks. You probably have to do that somewhat in here. Let's move to the next one, guys. And this one's actually probably going to be one of everyone's favorite, Ripper 2.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, yeah, that one is a big one for me.
Have you used it, the first one, a lot, somewhat?
No, I didn't. But now that you can actually do lighting in an interior, let's say, because we didn't have area lights.
Yeah. Now, is that an area light showing there, or is it
that's an area light
polygon?
But to be honest, in a modern renderer, it's the same thing.
Same thing. That's right. Using
Yeah.
a
You know, like Octane,
illuminated poly.
effectively, area lights are just luminous polygons.
Yes.
And things like IES lights are just a texture applied to a luminous polygon. It's all the same thing.
It looks phenomenal. I mean, like I said,
It looks really good.
I've done tests with the first one, but it definitely had its quirks with it. So I'm hoping this
Do
really
we know the
ups it.
full feature set? Because I genuinely don't.
For Ripper 2, what it does.
Yeah.
I think
God.
lighting was the big thing, and then normal maps. You can do normals now. Can I do more texture
I think
based?
it could before,
Looks
but I
like
don't
it.
know how good it was.
Yeah, I had issues with textures when I ran the first one. So
A little bit buggy, to be honest. I don't know that it didn't support them. It just wasn't doing them well. But this looks really, having area lights, it'll transform it.
yeah, just to get pretty preview render like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could actually change the surface textures on within River 2.
Yes,
cool.
it's a live link right now. So you can actually, if you have the shader, you can actually change the textures and it doesn't have to do a save and reload.
Ah, that's a huge improvement. It makes it more usable, more like VPR, basically.
And is this only PC only because of NVIDIA again?
It's
NVIDIA.
only.
Yes.
It's
NVIDIA.
using the optics library, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's again.
Oh, and I don't know whether that was a 1 or a 2 thing, but I do know that they've introduced a feature where you can do, like, say, because sometimes Ripper isn't perfect, you can do, like, say, 10 frames, but like for one frame, because it's incredibly fast. So you'll say, like, do 10 frames a frame, and it'll just merge them, and then you get like a really smooth interpolation.
Huh.
Whereas sometimes something
Wow.
like this might look a little bit janky, where you get like a bit of noise, or it's not perfect. So what you'll do is you'll say, well, a bit like used to do motion blur, they kind of do lots of subframes to then smooth out errors.
Interesting. Okay.
This looks like essentially like a game engine in
Yeah.
real time without a anti-aliasing.
Let's move on to the next. And I don't know what you guys think of this, because maybe it doesn't have enough foam yet, but their new ocean tool
Oh
Not
god.
enough foam. Sean, where's the foam?
needs more foam.
It needs more foam, Sean.
Yeah, this is super cool.
Yeah.
This is just an expansion of what we used to have, the Houdini Ocean Toolkit.
Yeah.
And
Hot
yeah,
ocean.
Sean just
newer version of the code base, so it's a lot more modern.
and Sean just took that code and just implemented it correctly, I would say.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And
But
it's native.
it's also what he's done, similar to that the particles thing, is that you can link it to the frustum. So what you would do is you would tie the position of the texture to the camera, so that you save an awful lot of effort, if you know what I mean. So you could like simply have it look like the ocean is moving, but actually it's just the camera playing type of thing.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Tie
That's
the
right.
two together.
I don't know if he shows that in this video. Maybe not. Yeah, there it is. Camera thrust him too.
Yeah.
Doing that here.
So you're only generating like a simulation of the water where it's needed in terms of
but
polygon
he
counts.
shows it how it actually then
Yeah.
changes the subdivision so you can keep the reflections, right? Because if you cut it
Yeah.
too far, it messes something up. I think that's in this video. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it also removes the polygons that you don't need to render, so you don't have to have them in memory as well.
Yeah.
Although as whenever I play with this feature in software, I'm always like, I need the plane to be bigger.
Yeah.
I should suggest it. What you should do is build it as a section of a sphere, so that you've got a realistic curvature of the Earth, so it just disappears behind the horizon, and then you don't have to worry about the edge.
Compared to Houdini Toolkit, this one is actually more random as well. So you don't get the same waves all the time.
Yes, it's more.
Well, that
not
was
repeatable.
the problem with the old Ocean Toolkit. It would effectively make an X by X square of ocean, and you could tile it, but you could see the tiles.
Yeah,
whereas this is just like an unlimited procedural style texture.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, tiles. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, and I think he's trying to add some foam in this shot here, but not foamy enough. Not foamy enough yet for me. So we'll wait for that. All right, I think this next tool is going to be pretty neat. At least a lot of excitement about it from what I've seen, and it is the MotoRig.
Oh god,
yes, very
this is so fucking good.
Yeah, looks great.
It looks good, and also it's fast and performant, and,
Yeah.
and works. It's a fun to use, very simple tool, and I think that's where it'll shine. Because yeah, you could build like a full physics sim of this, and it would be like so slow to run.
It's kind of neat that it does get away from using Bullet as well, that it uses its own dynamic system.
Yes. Yep.
And the options, they put quite a lot of options in there. It's neat that you can kind of change, right, the car type. I like how in the demo he stops it and slows down and eases in, eases off, and it even does the bouncing. Like you can make that extreme if you want, like Pimp My Ride extreme.
Yeah.
So
I mean, another thing that's really good is that it does things like calculate the speed, because you're trying to create the illusion of this being it's driving at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
fast is it going? I don't know.
Exactly, yeah.
Moving 4 squares.
It does seem to respect the physics of mechanics as well when it comes to like going uphill and downhill. It accelerates and slows down if it's trying to push uphill, and speeds up when it's going downhill.
And he's got a pretty good raycast going on there with regards to the wheels sticking to the ground and
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of balancing in the midpoint, which is a very tricky thing. Because especially if you've got
Mhm.
PH wheels, I mean, that's going to be really complicated to go, well, how am I going to balance? Where's the center? Where's the level?
Yeah, I
That's
wonder how
quite
many
complicated.
tires you can add. Does anyone know? Could you add like
I
100?
don't know.
I have heard unlimited, but that
Wow.
might be
Yeah, a
I
little bit
think you
crazy.
can add unlimited, but I think you are limited in a sort of a like only 4 of them will sort of like be the main tires, and the rest will respond. But
yeah.
there's kind of like to calculate the midpoint and the how the angle of the vehicle is and all that. Like you kind of can only really do on a 4-way rig, and then the middle ones just sort of ease in between or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
I think
It's
the real
shown on
test is really going to be when they, or if Sean actually introduces trailers to it, and how they react
Oh, yeah.
to the
Yeah,
in the chain
trailers are
format.
super hard.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a
I mean,
truck or
it might
something. Huh.
be
yeah.
relatively simple if you build it as part of the plugin, but we'll have to see.
I really like the shocks. The
Yeah.
shocks on this is very convincing, and the pitch and roll on this is
Yeah,
But
really
I
yeah.
think
very, very
there's a
good.
lot of, as you saw in the plugin interface, which obviously we only see very briefly, a very fine control. You can adjust the amount of bounce, adjust the amount of like shock, as you say,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it just allows it to have that, like, yeah, it looks just right. But
Yeah,
as an artist, you can still go, no, I want a little bit more. Yes, that technically would break the car, but I don't care. I want it to be a little bit more. You know,
Yeah.
it's what you want as an
This
artist.
this
I can.
tool reminds me so much about Real Motion, which was a tool that I still use actually when doing vehicle simulation. It has the same dynamics and all of that stuff. The difference is that in Real Motion you actually drive it as if you are playing a car game.
Mm,
You
mhm.
drive
Okay.
the vehicle. It just looks so similar to it with the dynamics and everything.
I like the fact that with this MotoRig, I'm finally going to be able to reimagine or recreate my Steve McQueen bullet car chase scene in this, and have it look convincing finally.
Oh, actually, there's another thing that I will comment on, and a question that I don't know the answer to. One is what's wonderful about this is if you look on the timeline when you see it, it's baking everything. So you can then take that out and export it into any other software or Octane, where you can't rely on the fact that it's going to read your scene data, and everything's just baked automatically. A lot of his tools he builds like that because when you're working in a multi-app pipeline, you've got to go right. I've built my cool rig. I'll export this, and it'll be like FBX fail, as it always does. And you
Yes.
can take that, and everything's baked in keyframes, and it should be a lot easier to export into third-party apps.
Well, considering from what I understand that the team are heading towards being more of kind of like a hub, using
Yeah,
that as a hub between different applications, it would surprise me if they didn't do it that way.
the
To
better
be honest.
input
Yeah.
and output, and baking and caching of all of the frames is a huge step towards that. So that's really
Mm.
fantastic. The
All
only thing
right.
I wasn't sure about is if you can have more than one, how easy it is. It's one of
Yeah, I
the
think I
problems.
said that one's works good with one right now, right? But maybe you can bake it down and then just bring in the others too, right?
Yeah, maybe you can do that. So load in multiple cars and you work on one at a time, and then you kind of go right, turn off the sim, bake it, done.
Okay. Moving on to the next one. This is kind of cool. Lightning, right? So
Ah,
the
yes.
new
Mhm.
lightning tool.
I think the what they've done so far with regards to having the arcs a lot more organic feeling. I think they've done a great job on that. It's not so linear anymore. The need to have this as opposed to was it branch? Is it that they had before?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and the
uh,
GeoNode.
yeah, the geonodes. I think they've really knocked it out of the park with getting this a lot more simplified.
Ideally, I'd like the best of both worlds. I would
Mhm.
like it where you can use an intuitive, simple, artist-friendly slider. Do that you go right. Put two nulls, make lightning, and you look in the back end, and there's a really cool little GeoNode setup
Mm.
made for you by you automatically doing it. It's good. Oh, this is his new
This is the new Ivory. I know I
yeah,
jumped
Ivy
ahead.
Builder. This is
to,
so
to, to-
nice. It looks really good. Very dimensional.
yeah, and it's supposed to be a lot easier to set up than the other one with the spline guides and creating all the
Yeah, well,
subparts.
exactly, and that's what I mean. But it would be nice if they could kind of combine the two. So this is like an artist-friendly tool. I would quite like it if you could go right and make this into GeoNodes.
Yeah, this looks pretty cool. I wonder if you could do something else besides vines if you're stuck with that, or maybe more like Venom or something.
I mean, you could actually see, yeah. I was going to think,
Yeah, yeah, or like a hypervoxel's blobs that like
Yeah.
weird tendrils of black goo that climb up the side of it or something. Yeah, that'd be really
Yeah.
cool. Really good use case.
Any thoughts on more thoughts on this? I'm glad they're making these tools a little bit more
Yeah.
just user friendly. Next up, we have another particle system kind of tool, but it
Oh.
just does the I don't even know what you could call this.
this
Wow,
is
that looks
cosmic
very
splitting.
tricky.
Yeah, more nebula
And I
kind
will
of
say
stuff.
that because he was saying that it's the new particle system, I mean, there's like a lot of particles there. That would be
Yeah.
super slow to do in the current system. So
Yeah, I
think
wonder where he gets the shape from. Is it just
I
part
think
of
it's a
the?
mathematical simulation. So what he's done is he's like loaded up like a mathematical sim, and
Yeah.
then you just sort of, a bit like a Mandelbrot set type of thing.
Yeah,
So you just
Yeah.
here's the formula, and it's just like here's a billion particles in color.
Yeah.
looks crazy. Looks really neat.
Looks beautiful, doesn't it?
It does.
And the
In
answer to the question,
OpenGL.
would I use it? I don't know, but I think it's one of those things where it'd really be cool to play around with it and see what you can make.
Yeah, looks awesome.
Yeah.
Looking forward to messing with it. All right.
Yeah.
Next up, we have this cool in layout, like a sticky function for modeling, right?
Okay.
So you can stick items to conform to a mesh
Yeah, like a
and
sticker.
then move them around. I don't
So
even
And
know.
this, I think, has been heavily influenced by Third Powers' 3D sticker tool, and
Oh, okay.
I think he's brought this over to the layout instead. It looks brilliant to me. I quite like
It
it.
looks brilliant. Yeah. The only thing that I would think is that looks fantastic. I would wonder how it's like the renderer, kind of like the micro shadow. If your mesh doesn't match 100%, how that works.
Oh yeah, it's offset a little bit or something.
Yeah, so hopefully there's like a setting for that, but in terms of being the functionality of that would be incredibly useful.
One I've been waiting for is the advanced placement update.
Ah,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
finally.
This is Steve's work too, right? So advanced placement is getting a great update, and so I'm definitely looking forward to playing with it.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Oh wow.
Absolutely.
Is that
Yeah,
real time
this and the
physics?
fracture tool. Yeah, I think this is going to be really what AP placement and fracture. What a combination that's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys never use it, it's just neat. Like for me, I can see myself using it to place furniture around a space really easy, right?
Yeah,
Things like
absolutely.
that. So
And
I love it.
I have no idea if this is actually going to be useful in chronoscope as well when that kicks in. AP,
Yeah.
fracture, and chronoscope all together. Wow.
All right, guys. Well,
Oh, yeah.
that kind of wraps up our preview of LightWave 2026. What are
Yeah.
your guys' thoughts on overall this year? I think it's going to be a great year for LightWave again. Lots of cool tools.
I think
Absolutely.
for production, it's going to be a real head turner for a lot of studios. It's going to be very interesting to see how many people have a complaint about it. I'm going to be very, very interested in the stability of it, though. That's going to be my main focus, really.
Yeah, stability for the tools. So hopefully they'll, have the open beta starting soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting to see what actually. Oh, that looks a bit pretty with the focus, there, isn't it?
Yeah, they got the focal thing in there too. Everything.
That's really nice in River.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see how it all forms together. Like we've got little tiny previews, but like not big ones. So very, very sexy. I just kind of want to see how it all hangs together.
I love it, guys. Well, thanks for chit-chatting about LightWave 2026 preview. And open beta is going to start soon. We're all going to probably be on it as well. So I'll see you on that flip side, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Take care.
Take care.